The MVP MMA card this week is going to genuinely shape the future of MMA as we know it, and it is not being talked about enough. The UFC has never had a competitor with a distribution platform like this. That Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson card was the most watched sporting event ever. What? More than any Super Bowl ever. I don't even know what else would compare, but that is the most watched sporting event to ever occur. Obviously, this does not have Mike Tyson nor Jake Paul. This will not reach those levels. But the fact that we've seen the ceiling is that high is insane, and the UFC should be scared. By the way that this card is put together, I really don't think that MVP is trying to do a one and done here. Yes, the top 3 fights have old guys. Sure, Mike Perry, Nate Diaz, Ronda Rousey, Gina Carano. These people won't be fighting for long, but when you look lower on the card, you see names like Robelis Despain, it was Muhammad Makayev, Saladin Pernassi, Jason Jackson, and the list goes on. There's more. And then you look to some of the boneheaded cutting decisions that the UFC has made. Fareed Basharat's in free agency, Renat Fakhretdinov is in free agency, Jairzinho Rozenstruik's in free agency, Jailton Almeida's in free agency. There's a lot of these UFC contenders and undefeated prospects that MVP could sign up to these multi-fight deals and make legitimate divisions with skilled fighters that will be fighting for many, many more years. Just to see what I'm talking about, here's a proposed MVP MMA card 2 that could happen in October and November, depending on when some of these people are going to turn around. In the main event, you'll have what's probably an exhibition match because of weight, but it's an MMA match between Jake Paul and Tony Ferguson. As Jake Paul, you're poaching Ferguson from Misfits, which obviously KSI, still one of your biggest rivals. That is a fun match. I don't know who I'd pick. I think that's awesome. In the co-main, you have the vacant lightweight belt between Saladin Parnassi and Paul Hughes, who you just signed from PFL, whose contract is expiring very soon, and I'm sure would gladly jump ship for a big payday and the opportunity to fight on a Netflix co-main event. Yeah, I'm sure he's pretty sold on that. Featured fight, you'll have the vacant welterweight belt between the newly signed Renat Fakhretdinov, undefeated UFC prospect, versus Jason Jackson, who's probably going to win this weekend. There's your welterweight title. And there's your 3 big fights. That's really all that you need. Under that, you can have a bunch of new guys that you just signed, these prospects that MVP signs to multi-year, multi-fight deals to really build up a roster. And then 2 months later, you can turn around, have another card headlined by Ronda Rousey, who just beat Gina Carano, and Holly Holm, that rematch. Francis Ngannou versus Robelis Despain, Jailton Almeida Rozenstruik as a contenders match, and Adriano Moraes, who got a win this weekend, versus either Muhammad Makayev if he can figure out his visa, or Fareed Basharat from free agency. This is not a short-term thing. They can make something real here.